So, Candace Owens thinks Trump was involved. Let's talk about it. So, Candace Owens thinks that Trump might have been involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. Now, I had already been leaning in that direction before she brought it up, but because she's more of a public figurehead, more people know who she is, and a lot of people do respect her, this thought process coming from her is starting to get people nervous or scare a lot of people. Now, I see where she's going and I dig what she's doing, but she's opening that can of worms too fast. And the conspiracies that are coming out of her are unlike her. So people like myself who've been in this world for almost ever, we navigate it a certain way so that we don't come off like complete kooks. Now, yes, I know a lot of people will still think I'm a kook and crazy. That's fine. But there are certain rabbit holes that I do entertain in the back of my head and don't necessarily say anything yet. Yes, lizard people, UFOs, demons, angels, I entertain all of that. But what I actually believe in are two different things. Now, that being said, do I think that Trump was involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination? Yes. My reasons are a little different than hers. And though she didn't really elaborate on why, I tend to think that he at the very least knew this was going to happen, or after it happened, he knew who did it. But my reasonings for believing that he was involved at the very least were two things that happened where he goes on the news and I guess a reporter was asking, how is he doing? I think a day after Charlie Kirk was killed. And he goes, I'm doing fine. I'm okay. He goes, well, what about that ballroom that we're building? And he jumped right to that. Sort of like he was trying to redirect the whole Charlie Kirk thing. Now, the first side of me was thinking that's pretty scumbaggy. He had, not that he had something to do with it at that point, but that he was redirecting it pretty fast. And one side of me was thinking that was scumbaggy. The other side of me was thinking, well, maybe he was doing that because he didn't want to talk about it at that point. He might have been really hurt. So I was like, all right, maybe there's that. But then again, another footage comes up a day after Charlie Kirk is murdered. He's at the Yankee game. And it's one thing to be at the Yankee game and watching it, but then he's doing his stupid little Trump dance. And I'm like, that's strike two. There wasn't no strike D. With politicians, you only get two strikes with me. And when he did that, I was like, he probably knew. He had to have. Because Charlie Kirk, again, I'm going to say this 1,000 times moving forward, Charlie Kirk's stance on Israel was changing. Charlie Kirk went from kissing Israel's ass to then questioning a lot of their bullshit. And he started waking up. And because he was a powerful voice who was going to get way more people on his side to start noticing Israel's nonsense, I think that's why they murked him. Now, keep in mind, before he started waking up, there were rumors that he was going to run with Vance. That's why someone asked him that question a few months ago about running with Vance for the 2028 presidency. And he said, no, I'm not president-like or whatever it was. It was some nonsense. And he absolutely was. And probably he didn't realize it at that point, but because America needed a guy like him, he was going to run. But anyway, I find it interesting, right, that now there's a new rumor going around that Vance might be choosing Erica Kirk to run for vice president. I hope that is not true. But again, it's a rumor, so do not hang your hat on me saying that. Anyway, so Candace Owens, thinking what she's thinking that Trump's involved. Listen, nothing goes on in this country without the president of the United States knowing about it. At the very least, they get wind of it. At the very least, they are debriefed about it later on. Nonetheless, they know about this. And Charlie Kirk's assassination is one of the most suspicious assassinations on the planet outside of, JFK. JFK was actually number one. But when JFK went down, I don't know if there were conspiracy theorists out there saying it wasn't, Lee Harvey Oswald, that it was the government. I don't know when that conspiracy theory started with JFK, but I know that when I was around like 9 or 10 or 11 rather, excuse me, I started noticing the conspiracy theories of JFK and how a lot of it didn't make sense, that Oswald did it. All right. And now with Charlie Kirk, there are just too many questions, way too many questions, no new answers. You have the FBI giving us a ridiculous narrative like I've gone over a few times. And Candace Owens is putting a lot together. Now, Candace Owens did state that she received information that Trump was involved. So I don't know why she dropped that egg, that hidden egg out there, and then didn't tell us why she thought that. But nonetheless, she did. So she must know something, or she must have gotten wind of something for her to sit there and make that accusation. Because that's a strong... Now, she didn't outwardly say that he did it. She says that she thinks he knows, that he knew of it, rather, and hinting at why. But again, she didn't go into detail as to why. So, listen, I'm standing with Candace Owens because, listen, like I said, I'd lost track of her or faith in her about a year or two ago. But once she started questioning Israel, then I was back in her graces, if you will. She was back on my radar because I'm like, here it is. Somebody else is opening their eyes. So she started questioning stuff with Israel, and Turning Point USA was like, you got to go. You can't say this about Israel. Then Charlie Kirk started asking questions, and they were like, well, we can't get rid of him from Turning Point USA, so we're going to have to do the ultimate do. Now, again, I will hang my hat that it was Israel, and the United States was involved in some level. His entourage, if you will, Charlie Kirk's entourage, there was one of his guys, there's a video of one of his guys, as soon as Charlie Kirk gets popped, as soon as it goes down, he walks to the backstage area, or he turns around the backdrop, if you will. He turns around the backdrop, and then, like, under the tunnel on the other side, he's on the phone immediately after Charlie Kirk was killed. This is on video. So now, again, guys, everything that happens in a video is caught. It's recorded. It'll just take time for people to comb through it and notice it. And this was very noticeable. And so when I saw the video, I go, holy shit, his inside team was in on it. Because the guy's giving the signal, the other dude in the crowd pretending before Charlie Kirk gets on stage, he's doing this, like he's practicing his oh my gosh face. I'm like, what is that? And then this guy pulling this very suspicious maneuver. And then when questioned, this is the guy's name, by the way. When questioned, who did you call? He said Erica Kirk. He said not Erica Kirk. He said somebody else first, and then Erica Kirk. And then, people were surmising that he called Erica Kirk, because Erica Kirk, as I thought she was there, she wasn't there. She was somewhere else. I think she was back in Arizona or some shit. And she got a phone call that he had been killed. But like immediately after he catches it in the neck, you jump on the phone with Charlie Kirk's wife and go, oh my God, he's been shot. That's the first, like, dude, the shock that comes over you in a situation like that, even his group of guys, the shock that sets in is not to phone somebody. Normally you have to get it together to call somebody. And his immediate reaction was to gingerly go around the backdrop and make a phone call. Not buying it. So again, Candace Owens is being led down a path of information that she is receiving from somebody inside Turning Point USA. That's who I want to know. I want to know who that is, who's giving her all this information. Because so far she has not been wrong. Anyway, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel.